Hey, so some huge changes in the garden as you can see. Also, a huge butterfly. Let me show you what I got going on here. The only thing out here that seems to still be hanging on is my watermelon, which I discovered have aphids today. This morning, I just discovered they have aphids. So I am going to have to break down and spray some neem oil. I will do that this evening because I already saw a couple of bees and other pollinators. This is weird. This male flower right here has two blooms on the same stem. I've never seen that before. Not grown watermelon really before, but that seems odd. Anyway, the obedient plants are doing great. They have the prettiest little flowers, and the hummingbirds do like them as I expected. The tomatoes are done. They're getting sun scald on the end of their branches. It's just too hot. I'm not going to keep hanging on to them. So I need to take out that tomato. And I'm going to go ahead and take out this tomato. The pepper is doing well, but also has some aphids right now. The zinnias are going off like crazy, but it's too hot even for the marigolds. So lots of work to do today. Where I've been pinning down the watermelon vine, that is doing so well. It seems to be real happy with that. Another thing I need to take care of today is this zombie dying citrus. The freezes that we've had the past couple of winters just did for it. It was making fruit and doing really well, and then the freezes came and killed the main tree. So this is just zombie growth that's coming up from what was left of that tree root system. So I need to take that out today as well. So another busy day in the garden, but kind of a nicer morning this morning. I'm not quite sure why, but it doesn't seem quite as hot, and there's a pretty decent breeze. So I'm just going to get to work. And I'm going to ask my husband if he might help me with digging this up out of the ground, because as tough as I like to think I am, I know that I can't do that by myself. So I'm sure he'll be happy to help me. On to the next thing. I could just pull this out. Wow. Wow. That root went far. Now I need to come out here and untie my sticks from all of this insane mess. Unfortunately, none of this can go into the compost because of the blight. I don't want to risk that getting into my compost, so this will all go into the burn pile. Fun fact, we're under a burn ban because it hasn't rained. It doesn't look like it's going to. I need to harvest these few little eggplant that are left, and I'm gonna give them to a friend, because another fun fact, I planted them thinking my husband likes them, but neither of us really like eggplant that much, so they're just taking up space. Got this bed all reset, got all the mulch as much as I can raked up off of it. And I noticed that down here there's a rip because I didn't put the cinder blocks around, and there's a bit of a hole here that where it just keeps spilling out. So I want to fix that, but I don't have any more cinder blocks. So I'm going to use these rocks, and I have a bunch more of these that I'm just going to pile up kind of here and make a border to just to hold the dirt in better so that it doesn't spill out.
A few moments later.
And this is what my little rock or make do retaining wall to hold the dirt back looks like. I also got my bed topped up with a lot of new dirt. The pepper's doing well. I wound up not having to spray any poison, any neem oil or anything at all to get the aphids off. I just came out here and blasted the plant, the underside of all the leaves with the hose, and that worked great. It got most of them off, and I'll do that again this afternoon and get any that are left. With all the extra sun, the couple of little peppers I had forgotten about in this bed are getting more sunshine, and they are doing a lot better. Hummingbirds are back, so if you live local to me, get your hummingbird feeder clean and get those put out. It's weird, they're early. There weren't hardly any hummingbirds this spring, and there haven't really been any, but here lately with all the heat and no rain we've been having, they've been coming to my yard. So anyway, these peppers are doing well. I'm going to plant a sweet potato here because I have time. It's the beginning of August, so we don't get a frost until well into December most years. So I'm going to be able, I think, to maybe grow a couple sweet potatoes. I have some vines growing and they're all nicely rooted. Never mind this mess that you see here. I was watering. The watermelon is just doing great. Knock on wood, it seems to be just loving the heat. I also got this bed topped up with some more soil, and I am ready to rock and roll for a fall garden. I am kind of relieved to have these gardens out. I was nursing those plants along for way too long, and I'm glad to not be doing that anymore. Don't struggle with a garden that isn't doing well. Just be willing to walk away. There's nothing wrong with walking away from something that's overwhelming and not worth it. I got some straw put on these beds because it's not good for your dirt to just sit, and be bare. So did that. I also can't stand to not see stuff growing out here. So I am going to plant some cover crops. I'm just going to put in some sweet potatoes and some beans, pink-eyed purple hull beans. The nice thing about where my garden is this does get enough sunshine, but just enough. I think the shade that these get, it just gets filtered morning sunshine, very bright filtered morning sunshine, and then direct sun in the afternoon, and then it's in the shade by the early evening. I really think that that's what's letting me continue to grow anything out here. We have been having to water every day because we're having a drought and a huge heat wave. We've had like 14 days in a row now with actual temperatures over 100 degrees. I'm not going to look at the water bill this month. I'm just going to pay it. But this is the only thing we're watering is just my little garden. So far, so good. But anyway, I'm going to get on with planting my little sweet potatoes, which I have some slips that I've been rooting, and I got some cowpeas, so I'm going to put those in.
A few moments later.
The sweet potatoes are doing great. The watermelon are doing fantastic. I have several new babies coming on. Oh, look at that little lizard. There's been a ton of little buddies like that. I think a lizard must have laid its eggs nearby because there's been a ton of little baby tiny lizards. Anyway, what I'm looking at is the little baby tiny watermelon over there, and I've got the big one sizing up, another big one, another baby, and then there's this one hiding over there. So the watermelon are doing great. And the cowpeas that I planted also doing great. I did plant a few peanuts, and the germination on that has been poor, but it's only been maybe 10 days. I'm going to give it another couple weeks and it'll be fine. I might plant some more peas there if the rest of the peanuts don't come up. Also planted some sunflowers. So yeah, everything's looking really, really good. Basically, the garden update right now is that it's really hot. And when I say really hot, I mean really hot. Actual temperatures above 100 degrees. And that's just not very nice. So we don't like that. We also haven't had any rain. We had a 1/4 inch like July 29th or so. Before that, the last rain we had was before July the 4th. So we had some chances of rain yesterday, totally missed out on that, didn't get a drop. Don't give up. There are some things that will grow even in the heat. I understand that okra and cucumbers are great to grow in this kind of heat. The beans and sweet potatoes and the sunflowers that I have planted seem to be doing pretty well. You know, like I said, having to water every day, but maybe it'll turn out to be worth it, and we'll just hope for better weather to come real soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, whenever it is, wherever you are.